Hello, beautiful family. Welcome to yet another episode of Yelkin Round.
Hey, we're here.
Your most delightful podcast, bringing it to you this Saturday morning.
Yes.
Yeah, I love recording Saturday mornings.
Yes.
Just because it's when you feel the most energized, especially after you've had coffee.
Yeah, and you served yourself 2 cups of coffee this morning.
2 cups of coffee this morning for me, and a little bit of a cigarette break as well. I needed that nicotine and that caffeine, all the ins.
Someone didn't sleep well.
I did not. No, I've been struggling this week posting the previous episode for Ecstasy, my other podcast, in Spanish. And it's been a bitch all week trying to post that dang thing. So it should be now uploaded. So if you speak Spanish and you want to go listen to something actually quite informative, I want to say, we touched into some very interesting topics there. And always, we try to bring the best news or the most interesting news in our perspective to try to keep you informed and keep you in the loop, because a lot of you guys have busy lives. Some of you guys aren't in social media. You guys are 35. And you guys are just not spending that much time on TikTok, or you are.
Mm-hmm. Or too much time.
Actually, did you hear about the thing that TikTok's trying to do now?
In relation to what?
To trying to keep people off the screens.
Oh, I heard something about if you're a minor, it locks you out of the app after an hour?
Yes, that's kind of something that they're trying to implement recently. By the way, my name is Derek Mayo. Sorry.
Oh yeah, this is Diana.
TikTok is trying to do this whole thing where they're trying to keep our children safe. After all the shit that you could watch on TikTok, now they're trying to do something about it, I guess.
Sounds almost like damage control. It's like
They got all these
kids hooked, and now they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, people are feeling like shit recently. Yeah. So after getting people hooked, now they're trying to keep people off the screens by providing them with a password. If you're 18 and under 18, you will be locked out of your phone or the app, not your phone. But apparently you can't get in. I still don't know the ins and outs. I don't know if you can bypass it. I'm sure that if you are like a 15-year-old and you create an account,
you can lie
saying that you're
I'm
21.
over 18. Yes.
Yeah, they have no. I don't know how they would corroborate that. Besides the fact that you're just.
It's like the same thing with my generation, where Omegle was very popular. We were like 10 and should not have been on that app whatsoever.
Oh my God,
but we're verified. I'm over 18.
People definitely got scarred and a lot of trauma off of Omegle.
Oh yeah.
If you only knew, dude. I saw so many dicks on that thing.
I was always so scared to use the video feature, which was probably a good thing.
Yeah. Pure text for you back and forth.
Text.
It's weird. I didn't use Omegle. I used Omegle once I was bored of chat roulette.
I never did that one.
Yeah, I did chat roulette, and maybe I shouldn't have.
There's things that you experienced that maybe a little kid shouldn't have experienced.
Yeah.
Or a young
boy, because I wasn't little, but I was definitely
maybe 15.
15, yeah. High school, definitely. You get bored, and it's late at night, and then you just start chatting with strangers on the computer, which don't do that.
No.
The internet was kind of the Wild West back in the day. Now it's more, honestly. You can find all sorts of shits, but it was definitely something wild to go into a website and talk to a complete stranger, and not only that, skipping through it and seeing the different things that people are seeking or doing. Yes, it can get very
fucking terrifying. But I see what TikTok's trying to do. I just also don't think it's just TikTok as a platform's fault. I feel like as a parent, I'm not personally one, but you also need to be aware of what your children are consuming, how long they're consuming things. It's just it's important to be conscious.
Yeah, control and patrol, man. That's I don't know how I came up with that, but control and patrol. You have to patrol what your kids are watching. Especially if they're younger, because they have access to a lot of things that they shouldn't. Even in YouTube Kids, we've seen trends where people get fucked up videos. Like people be posting things on YouTube Kids that go through the filters and can be very hurtful or dangerous for kids. And so just patrol and then control the time. you know, as an adult, not just kids, but as an adult, just try to control the time that you're spending on the screen.
That's something that I'm trying to do personally. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to find the balance sometimes, or because for me, I mostly use TikTok, and I use it mostly as like an entertainment and information source as well. Of course, I don't use it solely for like, oh, I believe everything that I see on TikTok necessarily.
Oh, no, you can't. I actually get out of TikTok because there's so much conspiracy, so many like opinions that it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of gets you, it's not even, it becomes noise. You know, you can't even intake information. You know, I don't know how people can spend hours on end on the application, because to me it just starts becoming noise and I have to get out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's healthy.
I try to make sure that my algorithm doesn't know me fully, you know, so I dab in, and then I try to make sure that the application doesn't know me as well as it think it might.
Yeah,
you know, as weird as that sounds. So I jailbreak myself and, you know, try to not spend so much time on these applications that are detrimental for your health.
So
Mental health.
You also use Instagram quite a bit. I personally don't really use it, but yours is a little more curated to what you actually like. Do you find yourself spending more time on Instagram?
Yes. I spend more time on Instagram because I am on my Explore page a lot, because I like to watch a lot of like soccer, you know, and I watch a lot of soccer drills, highlights, just a lot of fitness stuff as well.
Get a lot of animals on yours as well.
Puppies, you gotta have puppies and cat. I actually have a cat chat with a couple guys where we just send memes and
memes
and videos of cats. You know, so yeah, it's very curated, more curated than TikTok. And then it's funny to see different applications just throw shit at you to see how much time you spend on like a video, and then they start kind of like curating that, even though that's not necessarily your fix. But yeah, so just be careful with all that shit.
Do you ever get those weekly reports on how much time you've spent in general on your phone for that week?
Through Apple or what?
Through Apple.
I do, but I just ignore them. Something that I've done that has helped me a lot is I actually don't have any notifications on my applications, because otherwise you have these little red dots popping up on your iPhone. If you have an iPhone or whatever, you have these little red dots, and then you're just bound to click on them, and then just kind of like go through all of them. Yeah, they wrap you back in. So I have everything turned off, and only like important ones like Gmail I have on, you know, just because I have to be constantly checking my email. But anything else I try to keep off.
Yeah.
And I was actually listening to another podcast the other day, and this guy said that he had made an improvement to his life by taking away screen time an hour before he goes to bed.
That's so healthy.
It said that it actually helps your dopamine levels. You're supposed to be out of blue light, is what they call it, an hour before.
Yeah.
You are thinking of going to bed, so you could set an alarm. You could just set your phone as if you were going to bed, charging it, and not charging it next to your bed.
Next to you.
That's the main thing, which is something that I've been trying to implement. But sometimes I'm editing so late that it's just kind of like hard to do that.
Yeah.
But and then also in the morning, you're not supposed to be like,
that's like the first
thing to go to, which is a bad habit that we've all had, probably just because
I definitely have that,
grown accustomed to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, an hour before bed, and an hour, like you have to like wake up and then give your brain, you know, like I guess that dopamine.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah, that's so hard to implement though. Like I feel like the night is easier to implement than in the morning, especially if, like, for example, me, I have to check sometimes to make sure that I don't get an email from work or saying like, oh, don't come in today because XYZ or school. So it is kind of hard to implement that in the morning a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've also heard that if you wake up during the night that you shouldn't like scroll mindlessly. Instead, you should do something very like intellectually stimulating, like doing a puzzle and then like trying to go
at
back
night, like at 3 a.m.
Yeah, if you have trouble
Demon's
sleeping.
hour.
Yeah. Go do a
just
puzzle
have
or something.
The demon help you with the puzzle, you know, the kitten or something.
Yeah.
I don't struggle going back to bed. I'm not one of those people. And but you definitely should not be turning on your phone if it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
because you disrupt your whole sleep cycle, and that will fuck you up.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you've ever woken up. It happens a lot to me. The only time I actually like deep sleep and I can actually remember my dreams and even somewhat control them, I know that sounds a little crazy, is when I wake up, let's say around 5 in the morning, and I still have plenty of time to sleep. I can sleep in, and I decide to go back to bed. Your body's kind of like already awake, and then you force it back to sleep. Then you actually fall into another sleeping cycle where it's really deep. And then because I was conscious in the morning, I think I'm conscious in my dream.
Yeah.
So I get some really intense dreams then. Otherwise, I can't remember shit.
Yeah. Dreams are so weird.
Yeah. How about we get started on some of the hottest topics and news that we have today? I was reading through the internet like always and was finding some weird stuff. Everything has to be attached to some sort of conspiracy, and we try to we try to break it down for you here and have you guys make the decision of whether some things are true or not, or maybe in between. The first news that I have today are the 15-minute cities. I don't know if you've heard about them. It's kind of a hot topic that's been kind of popping off on the internet.
Okay.
And the reason why it's been on the internet is because it's trying to be implemented to try to help our society. And I'm saying this on quotes because I have some, I don't know, I'm a little adamant
There's
about
some
it.
concerns.
If something sounds too good, especially coming from government agencies, I'm always kind of doubtful. I'm not in a conspiracy trend, where I'm going to say like, they're trying to fucking control us. That's not my point. But definitely if something sounds very good, I feel like there's always some sort of catch.
Right.
So these 15-minute cities were popping up because different cities are trying to reduce emissions. So they're trying to reduce cars from polluting the air because we obviously travel on our daily lives. And they're trying to reduce it by having everything within 15 minutes.
Okay.
Whether that be your healthcare, open spaces, parks,
Grocery
stores, etc. Entertainment, anything. They trying to confine it to a 15-minute space.
Oh, wow.
That way people can be more active and walk to locations or ride a bike. So they're trying to push that.
I'm sorry, where is this like happening in the world?
It's happening all over the world, actually, mainly in Europe. The city that is actually kind of going under fire right now, it's Oxford in England.
Brits?
The Brits, yes, they're revolting around this. The Oxfordshire County Council has been receiving some backlash and even death threats because of people going out and protesting against these 15-minute cities.
Wow.
The whole reason is because there's also a whole bunch of conspiracy theories coming into the news and to what these projects are about. People are saying that by confining people to these 15-minute spaces or districts, you're also keeping them imprisoned in a way.
Yeah.
So you're trying to control where people are going, and if they leave a district, you would get some sort of fine as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a little questionable.
Yeah, so there's a few things. This is why it's kind of in between. It's kind of on the gray area. Like, I see the concept. The concept that was done by Carlos Moreno is this city planner, and I think he also teaches at a university in France. He's actually one of the advisors to the mayor of Paris, I believe.
Okay.
Her name is Anne Hidalgo, and in 2020 she postulated herself to run, and her whole one of her main ideas and agendas was making 15-minute cities. So this has been really pushed in different parts of the world, but a lot in France, Europe, and now England. We've seen certain areas in the US that have tried to push this forward, like in Portland and Illinois, I believe. But there are some things that are kind of weird in regards to this, because if you're starting to limit people, you also start kind of dividing people in a way. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So especially if it's an area that might be low income, red taping, as they call it.
Yes.
Which we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how the funds would be distributed or if it would be affected. Also, by fining people, I feel like there is just another way of getting money.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it just feels very wrong. Like, I think it kind of ties back to what you said about dividing people, because clearly if they were to implement this fully, those little 15-minute cities, they'd have their own like microculture. And
right, yeah.
And you'd be kind of restricting people from experiencing other things culturally.
Yeah, that's right. You could be walking in a block and then go to another one, and then it's a completely different vibe or scene, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's we see that a lot in urban areas, in cities, in metropolitans, big cities have these. You'd be walking and then another block is something different.
Yeah.
And then
15 minutes just also sounds very restrictive.
Yeah, I also feel the same way. Yes.
Like, I can understand maybe a little bit more half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But 15 minutes, like, just thinking about how, for example, if this was a 15-minute, I don't know what to call it, like a district, because Denver is like very, like, there's a lot of sub-cities.
Yeah.
So I'd just call it a district. Like, just thinking about that, it's just very, it's like big when you think about it, but at the same time it's like very restrictive, just tying back to what I'm trying to say.
Very Hunger Game likes,
Yeah, that's actually, I had that thought actually when you were talking about that.
Obviously, I don't think it'll get to that point, hopefully not, but yeah, people are not about it, especially because if you're trying to get from one side to the city to the other because of your job, then
point.
How are you going to do it? And then I was reading that a lot of, because they're really trying to push this, like, people are protesting, but they're really pushing it for 2024, especially in Oxford, where they're trying to give people alternative routes or things that can help get them to their jobs. But if the whole concept is for them to reduce emissions and the trip there results longer, then is the environment really what's
seems almost a little counterintuitive,
right? So there's holes in this ideology, in this mentality, in this agenda, that can be picked and criticized. Another one I would criticize is that if these government agencies and powerful people that are trying to roll these initiatives are so concerned, why don't we put a limit on the oil industry?
Yeah,
they're the ones that are supplying the fuel for us to use the cars. Like, that should have been taken care of a long time ago. Maybe the electric vehicle alternative, or pushing for better infrastructure so that we have biking lanes, or which in a lot of places they have in Europe, but it's one thing is to say it, and then one thing is to do it, right?
Or invest in public transportation,
better public transportations, which I think that should be like one of the main things going forward. If you have access to better public transportation, the people will ride the bus, the subway, like we see in a lot
therefore like in New York's is pretty functional.
It's pretty functional. It's fucked up, subway system it's congested, but if you could invest in something to decongest those sectors and actually make it a lot more easier and viable for people to patrol or roll around and have something creative to get people to where they need to be, and environmentally friendly, then I feel like that would be a better way to go about it if you're really trying to reduce emissions.
Yes.
Also, I feel like every single time we see a circumstance where we're trying to reduce, contamination, carbon footprint, it always falls on the citizen.
Thank you for actually bringing that up, because that's what I was going to say. It's always about like a common citizen, whereas if you really wanted to make an impact, wouldn't you go for the corporations that actually have a really high carbon footprint?
Yeah, like the meat industry, even like maybe change people's style of living when it comes to like eating habits and what they provide. How about we focus on being healthier and not and limiting people to have less access to meat in a way, and providing other alternatives, healthier alternatives to food ingestion.
Yeah.
So
invest in nutrition. But I also don't think that would end up well. Like, I do see it as something that can be more impactful. Oh, sorry. My mom called me. I'll call you back, Mama. What was I gonna say? Meat. Oh, yeah, I don't really see that turning out well. Like if you were to tell like any common American, like I'm gonna take away your steak, like they're gonna be like, no, they're gonna fucking revolt.
Well, even if they revolt, they have to see the numbers. The numbers are, we're fucking up the fucking environment because of this. And actually, not only the environment, the water as well, because it takes a lot of water to make meat, and it's not viable.
No.
And maybe it would be an initiative. To me, it's not about you eating meat. You can be a carnivore if you like. It's just how much you consume.
Right.
It's the lack of control. Is lack of control in the industry. You can have meat. I eat meat every now and again. I love meat. I'm not completely, I don't want them to take away your meat. That's not the point. The point is that we are excessively consuming this. Excessively. Like, the diets are not where they need to be for the majority of the humans. And I know that it also has to do with economic structure,
right,
which is something that we need to fix again. But if you're really trying to reduce emissions by limiting somebody to go from point A to point B, plus I believe that car emissions aren't even the greatest threat to the environment. You know,
the greatest threat, the meat industry is more of a threat.
Yes, and not only that, we deforest a lot of areas because of the meat, because of the cows that we're trying to breed. We sell these plots of land that are fruitful, that are good for the environment because they have vegetation, and we actually destroy those fields and put cows in there so that they can pasture. And that is the problem. Like, think about it. You're getting a hamburger from McDonald's at, I don't know, $3, $4, if that. It's relatively cheap. So there's something wrong there. If you're getting meat for that cheap, there has to be some sort of disconnection with how it's made and the economy behind it.
Right.
And the sustainability more than anything.
Yes. And an unfortunate thing, I think, I won't speak for the entire world, but in this country, there's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of people who still can't afford to buy healthy food. So sometimes those healthier alternatives are just not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So it's like multifaceted problem. It's not just one thing that's going to reduce the carbon emission, but there's a lot of things that we can do intentionally in order to do that.
Yeah. I'm definitely, there's some good things about these projects that they're trying to do with the 15-minute city, like getting people to walk more.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the benefits for sure.
Going, using their bikes more. There's something, I don't know, call me old school, but there's something cool about seeing people walk on the street, you know, and doing it in a way that they're trying to get from point A to point B, you know, not just riding in cars or riding in a bike, you know. There's something communal about that. And I'm for that. But at the same time, I don't want to be charged a fine to go from point A to point B whenever I need to do.
Right.
You know, that's not, I don't want to be limited that way.
Yeah. This just takes away your freedom in a way.
Yeah. And the weird thing is that from what I was seeing, like the final project would be creating this road that goes around the city.
Oh, interesting.
Completely, like basically like a circle.
Okay, like a Mario Kart.
Yeah, like a really basic Mario Kart track. And,
yes, that's the word.
The concept would be that by creating a roundabout is that you would get it off on your sector, right? On your district, and then you can just easily go from there.
Okay. I mean, I can see the convenience. It's not very, I don't think it'll like be as smooth as they anticipate or as they want it to be.
Well, they've rolled things out and people are like confused about where they can go, how they can go, because they're like, so it's not going to be easy to transition, but I do find it weird that they're trying to push it even though people are kind of like against it.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like they at least have to respect people's opinion a little more. It's like saying you're gonna eat it and you're gonna like it, you know, because it's good for you. It feels that way instead of having more conversations. And they've actually invested a lot in taking down conspiracy theories. These organizations, which is the WEF and the C40. C40 is basically a group of mayors that the initiative is to reduce carbon emissions in big cities. You know, I'm talking about Barcelona, cities in the US, everywhere, China. There's these mayors, Europe, that are coming together and are part of this C40. I think it's like 96 cities. And it was actually initiated by the Clinton administration, if I'm not mistaken. And it was, the whole thing is to reduce carbon emissions. But like I said, it feels like they're shoving this down their people's throats, and I feel like that's kind of the retaliation. Also, a lot of the conspiracy comes from like the right wing, where they say that, oh, they're just trying to restrain you and limit you, which, yes, we've seen that a lot of conspiracies come from that end of the spectrum. But I don't feel like every conspiracy should be pointed to them, because at the end of the day, these type of projects end up affecting everybody.
Yeah, so, I mean, even I said it was restrictive.
Yeah, so there's certain things that we kind of, and that's why we have this podcast, because I want to talk about these things and really like break it down and see both sides of things, and not just say, kind of stay in the middle and try to see the good and the bad, and then having people create their own judgment about it, have their whole criticism on the ideas. And that's why, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think this is viable? Do you think
no, immediately no.
Immediately it's gonna be tough, to implement, and I don't even know if how easy it'll be in the long run.
It's just there's too many people who are going to be against it.
Yeah, and I feel like it looks bad once the government starts like pushing it on them. Yeah. Like, okay, you're not going to listen to it. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
It's like you have to almost make people believe it was their idea, or at least collaborate. Like,
there's no, it's hard to connect the both ends, it's hard to connect both ends. Plus, nobody wants to pay more. Let's be real. Like, we're not in a spot where our pockets are not filled like that.
Too many other things.
The average Joe or the average Jane is not going to want to spend $5 for a fine every single time, or whatever it is, which how they keep track of you is by having these cameras set in different districts, and they'll like have your plate number or something, and then you'll receive some sort of bill or fine.
Yeah.
So and it also involves more surveillance, which, like I said, technology is always like a double-edged sword again, because by providing more surveillance, you're taking care of the people, but also you're also observing more of the people.
I feel like that's just more of like a control thing, like that, or a power and control thing, where they want to make sure you're like, oh, do what you need to do, like don't go against the rules. It just it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know how that would implement in cities that are lower in the socioeconomic structure,
right,
or totem. I don't know if we would be really even helping them or not.
Yeah, and also it makes me question if they were to implement that here, just for example, in the United States, like all across the country, like you're saying, in low income areas, are there not resources, what is it, amenities, like the grocery stores, like all the stores, are they going to be like the same quality as everybody else, or
that's what I'm saying,
like
and I don't know, it's very weird right now how the rules are being set, and I feel like there's still some sort of lack of transparency, even though they have a lot of information on their website. It all just talks about like, oh, the environment, this is what we want, this is the great thing. But I feel like there needs to be more transparency in like the terms and conditions, really the terms and conditions.
Even though I don't read the terms and conditions.
But I feel like once it starts limiting you, people are going to start reading that stuff. They're going to start diving in. And I feel like, I don't know, there's still something missing there.
I agree.
That makes everything kind of cohesive, and that's why you have this divide.
Yeah. Well, it seems like people are already revolting, so if it's already starting off bad.
And I doubt that it's just people on one side of the government spectrum, I feel like since it's affecting everybody's pockets, everybody's gonna have something to say about it and not necessarily be completely for it.
Right.
How about you? What kind of news do you have today?
I have kind of some upsetting news. It's about a school shooting.
Oh, me too. Trust me.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago on February 13th, a student named Luis Garcia unfortunately was shot at East High School in Denver. So pretty local. I looked it up. It's like half an hour away from here.
Oh my God.
So it's very close. And he was taken to the hospital. Unfortunately, they didn't really think that he was going to make it. And sadly enough, they announced yesterday that he did unfortunately pass away due to that gun violence. I was trying to read exactly what happened, but the police reports weren't really, they were like really unsure as to why it happened or how it happened.
It's still very fresh, probably trying to gather investigation and
Yeah.
and
But,
trying to
yeah.
get all the pieces probably.
Apparently, Luis was in a car when it happened, and
Hmm.
someone shot him. 2 teens in a different car were taken into custody.
Huh.
But they're not specifically saying it was due to that. It's just more of like they're a suspect.
Huh.
And yeah, it's
It's
very
muddied right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you heard and it's sad that this happened in Denver, but about 2 weeks ago now, there was a gun threat.
I did
in
kind of hear.
like 9 different schools, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, shit,
here,
that many?
Yes, there was 9 gun threats.
Oh my God.
shooter threats going to different high schools and I think some elementary and middle schools. I don't know if it was a prank, and apparently there was different parts of the country, if I'm not mistaken. I know that it happened in Denver 2 weeks ago, but I've heard that it happened also. The same type of prank calls happen in different parts of the
That's
country,
fucked, man.
which is fucked up, man. And I wanted to touch that because obviously we're struggling with school shootings and gun violence, and nothing seems to be done about it, right? And now you're having kids protest for their rights to be safe in their own classrooms, like
The bare minimum.
Yeah, the
like,
bare minimum. Now
not
you're
having
starting
to
see
think about being killed at school.
exactly.
There's no safety.
Dude, I have a little brother that goes to school still. He's in high school, and I worry about that shit. He actually had a gun threat, a shooter threat not too long ago. I can't remember if it was a shooter or a bomb threat, but definitely someone called the office and said that they had some sort of weapon that was potentially harmful for the students, and they locked everything down. I got sent videos of this fucking cops crashing down classroom doors to enter into the classroom to see if everybody was safe and seeing if there was some sort of danger. This thing is very traumatizing.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that we're trying to normalize this shit. Like, it should not be fucking
It's like, yeah,
normal.
another shooting.
Yeah, it's just happened too many times. And if there's prank callers just fucking doing that kind of shit, you guys very much, because
There's no humor behind
there's
that.
no humor behind doing these types of threats and thinking that it's playful. You have to grow up and not that's just not the thing to do, man.
Mm-mm.
Especially you're fucking with people's minds, kids and parents. So we had one of those happen 2 weeks ago, and yeah, it was like 9 schools in different parts of Colorado that received those fucking
That's fucked,
scary
man.
ass threats.
And it's people that don't deserve it at all. Like this kid, Luis Garcia, like he was really into soccer. I was reading up on him. People were always saying that he was very hardworking, very ambitious. He would stay late after practice and like work on his game. And it's just very sad, man. Like it's shit that that we shouldn't have to think about, that kids shouldn't have to think about. And it's very sad because, and I feel like I have some things to say, and if you don't feel like it's appropriate, you can take it out.
No, go ahead.
And there's a link between what I'm going to say, and it leads to this. So typically people who are pro-lifers, right, who don't believe abortion is ethical or moral even, and that should restrict women's bodies, women's right to choose. I feel like they care about the fetus, and then after they don't care about life, like in general, like after what's going to happen to the kid afterward. I just think that if you're actually a pro-lifer, if you're actually for life, then you should care about gun laws.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But we know that this is not, the government doesn't want this to happen. A lot of governors don't want this to happen because they're lobbied by the
NRA.
NRA, exactly. They have a lot of money in the government, and they have tentacles all over the fucking states, not wanting to restrict gun violence and gun laws, and gun violence, which leads to gun violence. And it just doesn't make sense what their rhetoric. How are you going to keep people safe if there's more guns on the street?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
How are you going to keep cops safe? Shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, just think about it. If you're a cop and you're having to do a domestic dispute, what are the chances of fucking somebody having a gun nowadays?
It's pretty high.
So you're basically going into a domestic dispute, having to risk your life. And I know that that's the job, but you also have to think about it and say, okay, yes, there's a right to bear arms, and there's a lot of people that are, anal about that and super for that. But the problem is not you owning a gun, is who owns the gun and why you have a gun.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't want to be talked about. You know, it's just that doesn't want to be talked about. People want to sell more guns. People want to just stay armed. That's not necessarily the way to do it, especially if there's no education behind them, or the understanding of the weapon.
Yeah.
You know, itself. You have to respect the weapon. That's my thing. A lot of people don't respect the guns. You know, things that are threats. You know, things that are dangerous. How many cases we've seen of people playing around with a gun, shooting themselves?
Oh yeah.
You know, shit like that.
Or shooting
a friend. Which there's been a lot of cases of that where people are just
not careful,
guns. And they just don't have gun etiquette and play around too much. You know, I've been in places where, like a party where people show a gun, you know, just because they're showing it, and people are drinking, people are, you know, maybe drugs,
they're
intoxicated of some sort.
Yeah.
And I don't feel comfortable in a room, even though they're not planning to kill anybody, but something could happen, a mistake.
Yeah, it's just very
something.
threatening. Guns and any type of intoxication is not a good combination.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of shit like that. So and to add, like I'd mentioned before, that in Denver there was a protest at the Capitol
yesterday. Yeah, the students walked out of East High School.
Yeah, to protest against gun violence and gun regulation.
Yeah, which honestly, I think it's awesome that they're doing that. I just think it's sad that they feel like they have to do that. You know, it's like, why don't other people care? Why aren't our legislators? Why don't they care?
Because they're not the ones being threat. That's the thing. They're the ones receiving the check. That's all. They don't give a shit. You know, they don't give a shit if kids are getting shot, if black people are getting shot left and right, if Hispanics are getting shot left and right. They don't care. To them, it's just, oh well, that it doesn't have anything to do with me. You know, they have a very double standard morale.
Yeah, they have the privilege of being distanced from the situation.
Exactly. It's like when you see somebody like famous or rich person trying to give advice in some things, and it's just like, dude, what do you know? Like, you're not
grounded.
Yeah, you're not grounded. You know, we've seen this a lot with celebrities trying to be like woke or whatever, and trying to be part of the conversation, but you see them doing actions that are completely the opposite, and you say, well, you're definitely disconnected. You're just saying whatever people are saying, you know. So it's kind of like that to me. And yeah, going back to your point, it's a double standard in the fact that people are pro being born, but they're not pro life, because they're not protecting children after the fact.
Yeah.
You know, they're not protecting children. We shouldn't even be thinking about having classroom teachers be armed or in order to protect, or having metal detectors in fucking schools. Like, that shouldn't even be the conversation. What the fuck is this, a battleground? This isn't fucking Call of Duty, you know. This isn't Grand Theft Auto. Like, we fucking have to limit the gun situation because we can't have kids dying left and right. Too often.
It's an epidemic.
Yeah, too fucking often, dude. Too fucking often. And it's sad, man. It's sad. Kids that never get to even experience anything in their life, very young. We have the Uvalde situation, how that got taken care of, which was sad and sorry, honestly.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I agree. Yeah, it just happens far too often. I say this every time, but like, I don't know how much more of this is going to take for change to happen.
Yeah. Moving on, I have a weird story, a very creepy story, actually, very fucked up.
Oh God, here we go.
So brace yourself. This is gonna.
Let me get some caffeine.
Yeah, this is gonna be a rough one. This past Wednesday.
Oh, very recent.
Yeah, this past Wednesday, this influencer from China, her name is Abby Choi, or was Abby Choi.
Okay.
She was kind of popping off on social media. She was a model, an influencer that was doing very well for her career.
Awesome.
So on Wednesday, she goes missing. And obviously, she's reported missing after 48 hours or whatever the procedure is in Hong Kong. And on Friday,
like yesterday Friday? Or last week Friday?
Last week Friday.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's always weird because we're recording a weekend.
Oh, true.
Yeah, last week Friday, if I'm not mistaken, she was found.
Oh, okay.
In a rental place in like the outskirts of the city. and the rental place was linked to her ex-husband's family. And what they found was a dismembered body.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this influencer, she was mother to 4 children.
Oh my God.
So these children have to deal with the whole trauma of that, and the murder is being linked to her husband, ex-husband.
Yeah.
His brother, his dad.
What the fuck?
And also the mother.
All of them?
Yes, they were all arrested.
Holy crap.
I think they caught 2 of the family members, the brother and the father first, and then they caught the ex-husband trying to flee the site or the town via boat at a pier.
Oh.
Yeah, and I mean the descriptions is that they found a skull with hair, no skin.
Ooh.
They found them ribs in
that's so bad.
in a stainless steel pot.
What?
Like they were gonna make some sort of soup or something. They still haven't found some of the limbs. Yeah, they set up a whole search and rescue team.
Okay.
About 100 members of the I don't know if it's police or but some sort of organization, and to try to look for the rest of the body. They've looked everywhere. They have diving teams trying to look for what's missing, basically.
That is deeply disturbing.
Yeah.
What the hell? Those poor kids, man. Obviously, poor woman.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? Like, imagine. I think 2 of the kids were from the guy, the ex-husband, and then she had 2 other ones. But still,
Also, it's crazy to me that they were all involved, like the family, or at least. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Is it suspected or is it confirmed that they all had a piece?
No, it's confirmed. The mom was arrested for trying to infringe in the course of justice.
Oh, so that's a lot of lingo. So what does that mean?
Basically, what I kind of figured was that they probably asked her if she knew anything, and she was trying to
lie, basically.
Lie about it. Yes, and then they also found meat slicers, saws, electric saws, instruments to do the deed.
Wow.
And it said that young woman, she was popping off, and she was found murdered and dismembered.
Do you know if there was a motive? Like, what kind of relationship did her and her ex-husband have?
So they haven't disclosed a lot of that because it's still being investigated.
Case.
Yes, and it's an ongoing case. But there's rumors that there was millions of Hong Kong dollars involved with the husband and the type of properties, and there was money issues. So money got in the way of this, and that is said to be the motive. Just money issues between both of them and the family, involving the family. So
what the fuck? There was probably some shady shit too, and especially because she was popping off on social media. So I almost wonder if he was asking for money or something happened there.
I'm not sure, but she was on very popular magazines and news articles in regards to like fashion. She was in a Paris Fashion Week.
Okay, so she was a model.
Yeah, she was a full-on model.
Okay.
And this ended up happening to her.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Damn, that was so hard to hear.
Yeah, I told you it was gonna be hard. That when you asked me about the news that I had. Yeah,
I mean, it's one thing for obviously it would be fucked up either way, but if it was just the ex-husband, but the fact that his family got involved, like that's the piece where I'm like,
they ride together, I guess.
But holy shit.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. And now they're all in jail, and I think they were denied bail, obviously. Good. And the case has been put away until May because they're still trying to
decipher
gather the evidence. They're behind bars for sure, but it's gonna be an ongoing thing till because they still haven't found the rest of her.
Of the body.
And I don't know if they will, but yeah, apparently they
pray
found.
for those kids, man.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I wonder if they
to know that your father's a fucking murderer, that your father's family is a fucking.
I wonder how old they
psychopaths?
are, but either way, it's very hard to hear that your father did that. But especially if they're little, they might not even be able to process that.
Yeah.
Man.
It's crazy what money can do if money was what's behind
the
it.
motive.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep up with that story.
Yeah. So this happened in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And another thing that I want to point out is that a lot of the news that we're covering this, I know that she's an influencer, but they always kept mentioning she had like 100,000 followers and whatnot. Like they made that a thing, which I don't know if I like that.
What do you mean?
Like every news outlet that I had was like an influencer. She had 100,000 followers. You know, they made that like a talking point.
Oh, the amount of followers that they had?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't know if I like that very much, but I know that it's her, profession and trying to give importance to the whole thing. But I feel like just the mere fact that she is a human and she died horribly is more than enough, to push this. I don't know.
Okay, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, because I feel like it gives a false sense of value, know, and this doesn't have anything to do with the model. I'm not trying to criticize that whatsoever.
No, it doesn't sound like you are. You're criticizing the article itself.
Yes, and the idea behind them, like the amount of followers is some sort of like currency. In relevancy, and it gives you importance and status. So
yeah, and
which it does. But
I was gonna say,
weird.
Unfortunately, I feel like we kind of fall into that. It's like you see a headline that says, "Oh, influencer dead." Like I feel like people are more likely to click on that, unfortunately. But I think there's some truth, obviously, to what you're saying. If any human dies in that way or in any other way, we should give some importance to that.
Exactly. Yes. So. That's my only criticism among these things. And you see the interviews and the police sergeant or whoever's in charge of the whole investigation. He looks very perplexed in the way he's trying to like talk to the press, which has to be really hard, man, to be able to talk to the press. Imagine cameras all over you, and then you're having to do this horrible news and
you have to be careful about what you're saying, what you can share.
Exactly. Apparently, she had some sort of wound. They found a wound on the skull, in the back of the skull.
Okay.
That was probably done with something pointy. So they said that might have been the cause of death. They found the parts in this apartment rental building that they had, and they also found her purse. Or her bag or purse.
Her personal bag.
Yeah, personal bag in this location, which was very odd. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else. I forgot. Oh, I was gonna say, just imagine walking into that.
Oh, dude.
And seeing all that shit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I wanted to be a detective.
I
for
know,
the
that's what
longest
I'm
time,
saying.
and
like,
you have to see some
gnarly shit.
Gnarly shit. Like I feel like I'd be the type that would probably like vomit or something.
I was gonna say that if it were me and I saw those, like for example the ribs and the pot, I would think I would puke.
I've seen. I can see dead people and not get like super shaky about it. Like there has been incidents, not involving me, but definitely like, I don't know if you remember the incident when one of my neighbors got shot.
Yeah. Right
outside our apartment buildings, which is fucking insane. I know. And the cops got there and she was just laying there lifelessly. And I was like literally a couple yards from her.
Yeah, you were super close.
Super close. And because they couldn't clean up the area right away, she had to stay there for at least a couple hours. And yeah, it's just weird to see, a death scene. So I know that I would be able to like take in that type of information and trauma. But when it comes to something as sickening as, dismemberment, like I don't know if my stomach would be able to handle it.
I don't think I would be able to either.
So yeah, that's one of the gruesome news of the week. Be careful, man. Be careful who you trust and who you're with, because they can fucking pop off a fuse and go fucking ape shit on you.
I know. There's a reason why I always have my location on certain people, just saying.
Yeah, that's a great feature, and you can share your location too.
I also noticed on Uber, I don't know if you got a notification yesterday when I Ubered, but I saw that I could share my location with like people in the Uber.
Oh. I did not get a notification, so I don't get notifications, remember?
Oh,
yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah,
but you have my location on regardless. But
yes,
I was like, I thought that was a nice feature to have.
Yeah, anything to keep people safe.
Yeah.
You had a freaking almost had a car accident yesterday.
Yeah, it was
Uber.
pretty. Yeah, I was in the Uber coming back from a friend's apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and my Uber was actually pretty funny. Like, we were just talking. He was talking about like what kind of music he's into right now.
Yeah.
It was a good conversation.
It's kind of nice when you have an Uber that has
sometimes
conversation.
Yes, I have to
points.
be in the mood for it. Like, for example, like I'll deviate a little bit from the story. Like, I like quiet Ubers if I'm like by myself or like to be honest, sober. And then when I get like a little drinks in me, like I like to be a little more social. So I was willing to receive his social nature.
Yeah.
Anyway,
open up to conversation and whatnot.
Beside the point. But so we were driving, coming home. It was a short drive. It was like supposed to be only like 10 minutes.
Right.
We drive past a light. We see these cops go by, like to the right. And we're like, oh, okay, something's going on. But I didn't think much of it. We're in a city.
There's always going on.
Yeah. The next light, there's another cop car going the other way. I'm like, that's fucking weird.
Like kind of like triangulating almost.
Well, I just thought it was weird, but I didn't really like try to figure out anything in my
if
mind
they were connected even or whatever.
Yeah, I just thought it was odd. Next light, it's still a green light, so my Uber goes, right? All of a sudden, this fucking car comes out of fucking nowhere. Obviously, they are on a red light.
Right.
They were being chased by a cop, but they fucking almost crashed into my Uber.
Holy
The Uber fucking reacted so fast. Honestly, I was like, if that were me, I think I would have crashed. Because it came in pretty hot.
It came in hot. Fuck.
And he fucking twisted the steering wheel. I'm like, what the fuck? And like we kind of stopped in the middle of the intersection for a second, and then he kind of pulled over, and then he was like, "Can I park for a second?" I'm like,
"Oh my god, dude.
Totally." It was like, it just happened so fast and like out of nowhere. I was like, "You handled that really well." And then like, he's like, after he parked, he's like, I'm just gonna go outside and do a few jumping jacks. I'm like, yeah, do what you need to do.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's like,
he started doing exercise.
Yeah.
His adrenaline was probably like rushing.
Yeah. He's like, I need to exert this energy out.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you need to do what you need to do. I just like kind of stayed in shock. I was like,
yeah, you got home and you were like, I almost died.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then we got back in, and he drove me home. I was like, I tried to make a joke. I was like, well, you're definitely getting 5 stars now. But
yeah.
But yeah,
I honestly,
I gave him a good tip. I was like, yeah, I appreciate you taking care of me. Like,
which
hope you have a safe night.
I mean, he did.
Yeah.
Not everybody could have swerved out of the way like that or have the reflexes to, or the mental agility to do it.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Oh man, that would have been a bad call.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to me. One time I was just getting out of where we are pulling out here at the main street, and this fucking guy, we're going one way and there's a median in the middle.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird one. But.
Yeah, and then this person is coming down from the other side, so we're going up, he's coming down, and somehow fucking goes over the median and fucking rides through the median, and then you see fucking sparks flying, and then all of a sudden, like, because he can't control the car, he goes into our fucking side of the street.
Ooh.
So the Uber driver's just like going towards it, and we're about to like head on crash, and you know, again, we had time and space for him to like swerve out, and then this person just kept riding and then try to get back into the lane.
Oh
like,
man,
I don't know if he was fucked up driving
or something was malfunctioning.
Something was fucked that night, and same thing. She's like,
wow.
I was in shock. I was like, God damn, we almost fucking died.
Those type of events will shake you and make you reevaluate some things.
For real, man.
Do you mind if I actually go to the bathroom really quick?
No, go ahead.
The coffee is kind of getting to me.
And we are now back after a quick potty break.
That coffee, man, it'll get you.
Yeah, coffee makes me shit.
I mean, me too, but mostly pee.
It makes you pee more. Beer makes me pee a lot. That's my downfall. That's how you get all dehydrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't we go into this last section I have? Oh, do you have any other sections?
Just the good noodle section.
Oh yeah, let's do the good noodle and then we'll jump into this.
Okay, bet. New segment.
Yeah, new
called
segment.
Good noodle, because there's a lot of negativity in the world, and kind of want to bring a little positivity whenever we can.
Yes. So welcome to this new segment we're calling
the Good Noodle of the week. Yes. This week's Good Noodle is actually a celebrity.
Oh. That's surprising. No, I'm just playing. Who is it, and why are they a good noodle?
Jaden Smith, actually.
Oh, Jaden.
Yeah. He actually, this kind of has a backstory. Before COVID hit, he wanted to create kind of like a food truck, a vegan food truck to provide free food for unhoused people.
Oh, I've heard about this.
On Skid Row. It's called I Love You restaurant. And then because of COVID, like it kind of tampered with the progress of the success of the business, so he kind of had to put a pause on that. But recently, like he started rebranding again and started to get it up again, so he's doing that right now on Skid Row. And I guess he says that he got inspired by the time when you remember that movie he shot with his dad, The Pursuit of Happiness?
Yes.
So he would he was exposed to a lot of like the unfortunate circumstances that people end up in. And so he like wanted to do something to give back. And so that's why like he wanted to start that I Love You restaurant. So yeah, now it's up and running, and he has intentions to keep it permanent. I was actually like reading up a little bit more about him. I guess he's done a lot of other things. Like for example, he has a sustainable water company, and he's replaced like thousands of plastic water bottles. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, he's very involved with the activism side of and philanthropy side of things.
Yeah, and I think he partnered with New Balance to create vegan sneakers too.
Yeah, I know that I've seen him in a couple campaigns with Levi's to create longer lasting clothing.
Yeah, I've seen that
pieces,
too.
Trying to reduce the consumption of fast fashion, and instead of like buying fucking 20 new pieces of clothing a year, you could reduce it and just buy pieces that are meaningful, you know, when it comes to the fashion industry. You don't have to dress like shit. You just got to be smart and conscious about how you dress. Thrift, a lot of thrifting has become more popular. But
yeah, I actually have to look for new clothes today. So
there you go. But so Jaden Smith, good noodle of the week.
Good noodle sticker. Good noodle star.
Yeah,
like
good
in
noodle
SpongeBob.
star. Shout out to him and all the things that he's doing. Well, to finalize, I do have another segment called the microwave news, and these are news that are not necessarily as important as one would think, but they're definitely part of our pop culture and worth maybe mentioning.
Yeah.
The first one I have is Justin Bieber.
Oh man.
He just canceled his Justice tour, his world tour. He was gonna be playing in like Ireland, US, Bangkok, different parts of the world, and he just canceled it because they haven't said anything. AX, which is this ticket company, has refunded or just planning to refund the money to
people who purchased,
people that were going, to fans. And it's indefinite as of right now what the reason is.
I mean,
and representatives. Well, a lot of people.
The timing is very odd to me, just because of all the drama that's going on right now.
Yeah, they're also saying because he had this Ramsay Hunt syndrome, where his face was paralyzed, that it might be something to do with that, with his health.
Okay,
which is understandable. Yeah. You doesn't matter who you are. Your health is important. So if he's trying to take care of that, I can't. It is what it is.
Or maybe I wonder if it's like his mental health too.
Yeah,
just because of what I'm saying, like of what's going on right now.
You got some tea or what?
There's a lot of tea, and I don't want to like go completely into it because people on TikTok already have covered this, but there's just a lot of drama right now with his wife Hailey and Selena Gomez. Not necessarily, Selena isn't really involved. JK. Like she's trying to like take a step back from it, but there's like a lot of supporting evidence that like Hailey is like
pushing
kind of
something?
A creeper. Yeah.
Kind of a creeper. Oh.
Yeah.
Selena Gomez she's my age. She's 30 now. So, I feel like she's kind of mature for these kind of games, social media games.
Well, even she said, like, I'm too old for this shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she said that.
Oh, well, there you go. See.
Yeah, well, not related to the Hailey Bieber stuff, but more as, like, when she is still getting hate, unrightfully so, about, like, how she looks a little different.
Of course. Yes, I have her on TikTok.
Yeah.
Keep doing your TikToks. You look gorgeous.
Honestly.
A lot of people, you read the comments and a lot of people keep commenting on her face, the way I'm like, dude, she looks perfect.
Honestly,
what are you guys talking
she's
about?
Gorgeous. I think her naming of her makeup brand is very on point, like Rare Beauty, because I think she's a rare beauty.
She's fascinating. Yeah, I really don't know what the fuck is going on with people bullying her for whatever reason. I don't even want to say it's like, to me she looks perfect. I don't know, I'm biased, but
I agree.
But dude, if she has some sort of sickness that is affecting her, or if we shouldn't be pointing fingers at that. You know,
No.
you don't fucking see somebody that has a defective part of their body or something that is different and say, ha ha, look at you, you know, like, what the fuck is that? It's the same concept, you know, it's the same idea. Like, you got to respect people. That doesn't matter how they look. And I'm not saying, whoa, you know, she can't be hurt, you know, but when you have millions of people fucking attacking you on the internet, like, you try to deal with that.
Oh yeah, that's a new level of hate. Like,
exactly. The same thing that happened to Zac Efron. We were talking about it the other day, where he had facial reconstruction because this guy almost fucking died in an accident. So, and then people are just making fun of how he looks, which he looks fine. He looks fine. He's still a great looking guy.
Yeah.
So, that abuse on the internet is something that I grow up, people. Like, really grow up, read a fucking book, dedicate yourself and your energy to something else, or at least if you're gonna be criticizing, do positive criticism. Don't criticize the person. Look, like, you're just, that's an abdomen attack, you know.
Yeah, it's just a very immature thing to focus on.
Yeah, so that's very sad. And I don't know much of the Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber thing, but I know that obviously Justin Bieber dated Selena for a while, and Hailey Bieber, to me, from what I know, she just kind of popped up and showed up out of nowhere, and
yeah, well, there's a lot of supporting evidence that she kind of low-key stalked Justin before, while actually he was dating Selena Gomez.
Oh, really? Probably sending DMs to him, maybe. I don't know.
No, like physically.
Oh shit.
That video I showed you?
Oh, yeah, where she shows up at
Justin Bieber and Selena were walking like outside of a hotel or to a
which
hotel.
Which is really random to be there at the same time that they are walking at the same hotel.
Yeah.
And she had no connection to that instance?
Not at that point, no.
What the fuck?
No. And there's just, I don't know, there's a lot of parallels between how Selena acts and how she obviously like shows her personality, and basically Hailey imitating that.
Oh, really? Is she doing like a copy paste type thing?
Basically.
You know?
Yeah.
What's it called when you plagiarizing? She's plagiarizing Selena?
Uh-huh.
Oh, shit. Come on, people.
Be better.
Be better.
But yeah, like I said, I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's the microwave news of the week. Hopefully, if Justin Bieber's feeling bad physically or emotionally or mentally, you know, prayers for him. You know, you never want to wish anything bad on him. Of course not, yeah. Hopefully he's better, and he's losing money in a way. You know, it's his job.
Right.
It's his job. So obviously, if he's stepping outside of that, either he's struggling with something personally, physically, or emotionally, and if that seems to be the better alternative to this situation, well, so be it. You know, let's respect that, and I know that there's a lot of fans. He'll be back.
Yeah,
he'll be back.
Hopeful wishing.
Just be sympathetic. Be sympathetic. But with that being said, let's go to this section called What's Your Bop?
That was a good one.
What's the bop of the week? With this radio host voice. Give me the bop of the week.
Excuse me. My bop of the week is off Kali Uchis' new album.
Oh, did she release one?
Yeah, she did.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shout out Kali Uchi.
Yeah,
keep doing your thing, girl.
She's so beautiful.
She is.
She's hot. But
she fine.
But my bop is called I Wish You Roses.
I Wish You Roses. I like the title.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it.
It's a pretty title. It's actually kind of interesting. What is her album called? It has something to do with, I think it's called Red Moon and Venus.
Interesting. Very
and
symbolic.
There's been a lot of planetary albums coming out, like with Raúl Alejandro,
Saturno,
and
Saturn.
then Karol G has a song called Mercurio también.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting, like
Mercury in retrograde or something like that. Yeah. Well, actually, pointing out to the planetary stuff right now, you could, if I'm not mistaken, you could see Jupiter and Venus or something like that, or Saturn or Venus. I looked up to the sky and there was like two dots next to each other, and I thought it was an airplane, but there's like Saturn and Venus kiss or something like that, where it looks like they're about to touch each other, or they do touch each other, and then they kind of like
that's
move.
trippy.
But yeah, obviously they're
very far away from each other.
But you know, if you're like,
an optical illusion.
Yeah, if you're into tarot reading or energy and the space or astrology, I guess
the cosmos,
and if you're into all that, then you know you're supposed to like make a wish or something. Okay. I don't know. I don't read enough into this stuff, but it's cool.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
There's definitely weird things happening in the sky. So, you know, let's put our little tinfoil hats here. But no, it's very interesting what's happening. And also there's like some recent news that the Webb telescope that we just launched, it's like capturing amazing images of what our origins of the universe are. And apparently they just found out some galaxies that are like not as, or they shouldn't be there or something like that they're not as old as they should be, or they shouldn't even be there. So right now the whole astrophysics community is like going insane because they're like it like broke the paradigms that they have for the origins of the universe or something like that. I'm not a specialist, but I would love to have a specialist here kind of break it down for me. But yeah, apparently they
get Neil deGrasse Tyson up in here.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, hit me up, brother. When you're in Colorado, come through and explain to buddy what the fuck is happening with the universe, please. Which he also has great TikToks.
Yeah,
I like his content.
Yeah, same.
He's a cool guy.
But what's your bop?
My bop for the week is going to be Metamorphosis from Inner World. Cool. It's this new to me, but it's a different type of electronic music. It's called funk, PHONK.
Oh, interesting.
I believe it's kind of like it falls under that category. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've seen the videos where like you have like models, like Asian models, like dress all, you know, dapper, and they put this like very intense type of EDM music in the back. So it's kind of along those lines, and I've heard it and I've been fixated. It's kind of a cool song.
Yeah, it's actually stuck in my head right now.
Yeah, like the beat is very hard, and I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, I like it.
So check out Metamorphosis in the Yolkin Ecstasy playlist.
Chill.
Before we go, make sure to subscribe, like, distribute this information, listen, and comment on the bottom. Open up the discussion into what we were talking about with the 15-minute cities. All of the above. You know, that's what we like to hear. We want to open up the conversation for you guys so that there could be, so the ideas in the comment section can have sex and actually create good opinions or bad opinions. It doesn't matter. It's free speech, my guy. Yeah, but anything else you have before?
That is all. All
right. Well, make sure to follow us on our social media. Like always, hit like, subscribe, like I said. Thank you so much for joining us again. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Or in 2 weeks, I guess, because it's back to back on something else. I am planning some new interviews in the future, so stay tuned for that. I'm trying to discuss some things. And before I go, I actually want to give a shout out to Jay Barber.
Okay. Shout out to Jay Barber.
Jay Barber. So if you guys are looking for a haircut, which I actually need one, I just don't know what to do with it right now. But if you guys are in the Western Slope or in Colorado and you guys want a fucking clean ass haircut, hey, Jay Barber. He currently lives in Grand Junction, has a great shop. He creates TikToks that have gone viral as well. So go check out his TikTok page. I don't know if you've seen one that has like the ticks.
Yeah,
in the back of the neck. That fucking blew up.
Yeah.
Everybody was like trying to see if it was true or bad. Obviously, it was a prank, right, you know, but it looked realistic. And
that was a smart marketing move.
Yeah. So shout out to him. Go sit down with him. Have a great conversation. He's a nice, talkative guy. I feel like a lot of guys go get their haircuts and have like this heart to heart with their barbers, kind of like a therapeutic type thing, you know. So if you're getting that mullet done or you know that nice crisp fade, go sit down at your chair and relax a little bit and go get pampered, you know, because who doesn't feel good when they rub your head?
Oh, it feels so
like
good.
Even dogs, you know, you start petting them and they do that face. You know? So go check out Jay Barber and check out his content as well. Trying to support different content creators from Colorado. So this is a network. We're not trying to divide. We're trying to unite. So stay tuned for different episodes in the future. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Take care and stay weird. Bye.